Thank you for joining me today at this ceremony to rename Maiden Lane in honor of Dominick "Tiny" Magliaro, a true inspiration to all those who knew him. We're here this morning to honor a man who always kept the needs and interests of this community at the forefront of his mind. Dominick was a man, though known for selling ice cream, is remembered as a friend to all. The sound of Dominick "Tiny" Magliaro arriving in the neighborhood brought children and sometimes even adults running to the street for 6 decades. Though Tiny was the beloved ice cream man, he was so much more to this community. Shortly after his death in June, it quickly became apparent that everyone who grew up or raised their families in Inwood had a story to tell about Tiny. And there was a common thread woven through all those stories. He was a small framed ice cream man with a very huge heart. He was a friend to all and never turned a child away, regardless of the child's ability to pay for the ice cream. Those who grew up in Inwood have declared that their childhood would not have been the same if it wasn't for Tiny. He knew each of the children by name and often asked about how their parents or siblings were doing. The stories of Tiny serving children who didn't have enough money for their favorite ice cream are plentiful. When others offered to make up the difference to pay for the child's ice cream, Tiny always refused. His generosity was legendary.
No matter who the kid was, if for some reason he didn't have the 25 cents for the ice cream bar or the ice cream cone, Tiny would say, "Don't worry, I'll catch your mom tomorrow," and he would give them the ice cream. He never disappointed any of the children in this community. And it's not just Inwood, it's the whole 5 towns. Wherever I go, Woodmere, North Woodmere, Lawrence, Cedarhurst, people come up to me and say, "Way to go, the town's going to honor Tiny. He was such a great guy. He was such a part of my growing up, a part of my childhood. He brings back so many great memories."
He worked for a little while over at an asphalt plant over by Idlewild Airport. And then after he worked there for a while, he decided to start selling ice cream. And through that, the history of it, everybody knows who's bought ice cream and heard the bells and ran for it.
It is only appropriate that we dedicate Maiden Lane, the street on which Tiny grew up, as Dominick "Tiny" Magliaro Lane, in tribute to this inspiring friend and neighbor.